Gwen. Harold. Harold. Kathy. Jack, Sue. Larry, Wayne. Hey, Wayne, Blaine. Blaine. Oh, Blaine. Oh, yeah, way to get in the picture. Oh, we got her eating.
I think I want to copy that one.
Candle. Steve, how you doing there, Steve?
There's your
Harold, where's your name tag?
What's that? Hey, I lost it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they
Now's the perfect time to leave.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Dave.
How you doing, Ken? How you doing, Cliff?
Hey, Clint.
Oh, look at him.
Hi.
Down, Dale.
He should have got that picture.
I need to find out the boy that tied and didn't get his candy bar.
Let's look our best now.
Ain't no way.
Everybody sit down.
Look at her. Are you smiling, Emily? Oh, yeah. I'm liking her.
Emily. Andy M.
Yeah, you want to
We're going to start on some of this while you're still eating since a lot apparently have already finished. So if everybody wants to sit down, we have some business stuff to do. We would like to get everybody introduced.
Just keep going.
First of all, because there's a lot of us here that don't know each other really well. And so, and Mom said she just took a count, and there are 190 of us here, and more coming. So, yeah, really, we appreciate it. Before we introduce everybody, I want to give some special thanks to the people that helped put this together. First of all, I'd like to thank my mom who has sponsored this, because she's really put a lot of work into it. For those of you that got our original letter that we sent out, it was after Ann Elpo's funeral last fall that I suggested to my mom we ought to do a reunion. And I said I would organize it if she would be the publicity. And she's the one that's really twisted people's arms and put on the pressure and done all the things to get everybody here. And she also is the one that made lots and lots of calls trying to trace everybody down because we didn't have a current list. And that's why we have the directory available. I'd also like to thank Janny, I don't know if she's here yet. Janny, Kat Perry, and also her son John did a lot of help with, John typed up the directories and did the graphics on that last little flyer we sent you. That's why it was much better than the 2 letters I typed before. And they just have done a lot of work to help too. And today I'd like to thank also, my dad helped type that up too. We also want to thank certificates that are helping tally up for the Olympics. I want to thank all my brothers and sisters and their spouses who have done a lot of help with this. I thank Jenny Mudrow because after we're done here at 1:30 in the multi-purpose room, she's going to have activities for all the kids between 2 and 6. And then after her, my brother and my sister-in-law will take the next hour. And so that some of the parents can be happy. Okay, it's not Jenny's job to tend all the screaming babies. It's have activities for those that will participate. Also at 1:30, we'll be having a little genealogy workshop, and it will be in the 30 Rex has the music here, and they tell me that it is a Saunders tradition that they do around dances. And so, as we start cleaning up, he's going to start getting everybody in these dolls. At 2 o'clock, we'll have beach ball volleyball in here. We'll have a program in the Relief Society, a musical program. And also for the grade school kids age, my sister Mary has games and activities lined up with them over in the scout room. That will start at 2 o'clock. And if you have any questions, my friend, I told them this all last night.
That cute girl sitting over by us.
Now, for introductions, what I like to do is have, like from Uncle Clarence's family first. Let's see, is Wayne the only one here? Joy here. Joy's here. Is that it, your family? Anyway, if you would come up and introduce any of your family that's here. Now, are any of Lee's kids here? Anybody from Lee's family? No? Anybody from Lauren's family? Any Uncle Harold's other family here?
Hi, Gary.
Come on. After them, get in line here. After them, let's have Aunt Vern's family. Anybody that's here from Aunt Vern? We've got Dave. And if you're not an original cousin, but your representative isn't here, so come and introduce your family. Okay?
Kevin is me.
So start
Miss Kevin is me.
with Wayne and Joy here and let them introduce their families.
This is my pen.
You're there, Don. David. Glad you're getting ready.
We don't have any of our what did you want me to do?
He said if
You want to stand up?
he said if you could pick your slugs in half.
Come on, Paul.
The oldest is Karen. He's in Denver. David next. Dwayne's next. And we've got Bruce, John, Richard, Robert, Kathy, and Jeanette. All are married. And I've been able to marry all of them.
Hi, Fern.
And I didn't get
How you doing?
when they were
How you doing?
okay.
Are you happy with this turnout?
Okay, I'm Joy, and my husband Gary. Stand up, Gary, in Chico, California. Then we have John, who's here from Las Vegas, Nevada, with his wife Rosie, and they're expecting there. Okay, let's do these. I thought David.
Okay. Robert and his wife Kim, and they have 4 children also. And Lynn and her husband Brad, and they have 4 children. And John, are you here, John?
I haven't seen John.
John's been here, but anyway, we have something in Salt Lake, and so we just were able to get here, and I can't wait to get to the visiting part. I want to thank Carol Lee and Fern and everyone who's done this. It's a wonderful day.
I'm Gary. We have 6 kids. We've got them all here, but my oldest son, who is in Seattle, but he sent his better half, his wife Kim, is here with us, and they're clearing the back here, and our 3 granddaughters.
Have them all stand up.
Okay, and then my second son is Tim, stand up, and his wife Christy standing in the back, and they have 2 kids there. And then we have, who's next? Chris. No, Josh. Excuse me. Josh is number 3, and his wife Tammy, going to BYU, and Chris just returned home from a mission to Portugal. And Sam. Careful, cooking orders straight. Sam is in high school, and then our only daughter is Kira.
Come on up, all you brothers.
Get your mom and dad up there.
We're missing one, yes. Where's Dawn?
No, they had 8. 1 daughter and 7 sons.
Oh, he'll be in a minute. I want you to know that all of my family is here. It's just me. But I do want to thank my brothers for coming down and all of their families, because I have a new roof thanks to all of their efforts. You know, that's pretty good. I didn't always appreciate them as a youngster, but I do now.
It was a joy for all of us to help Gwen put on a new roof, and it was fun for us. We were able to work together, some of us on the roof and some with the families. I only have one of my 6 here today. Another one may come a little later. He owns a business here in the valley and had a job this morning. Heaven's best if you want your carpets clean. Julie, would you stand, please? Julie is our 17-year-old. My wife is unable to be here. We have her mother living with us.
We wanted to get this here now so she could show it to everybody. This is a family quilt that we did from all the members of our family for. I know Uncle Harold would probably have to have 2 queen-size bedspreads to do that kind of a quilt, but we're still pretty small and contained. Okay, here's Mary. I'd like to introduce my husband first, Bryce. Some first-hand memories with us. After she's done, we'll make the Olympic Awards, and then we'll have my mom speak for about 5 minutes, and then after she's done, I have a statistical report that I compiled from all the stuff you sent in about missionaries and some of those kinds of things. I'll go over that real quick, and then we'll have Uncle Harold talk, and then we'll be ready to go into the activities for the afternoon.
She told me I could only have 5 minutes, so I'm timing myself. I have good recollections of Mother and Dad. I'm sorry. I can remember following Grandpa Saunders over the hills on our farm up on 42nd and Madison in Ogden, and him telling me that someday all of this land would be covered with homes. And I used to think, oh, Dad, that could never happen. And now if you drive up there, it is covered. They even filled in the pond where it was right in front of our place. And everything has homes on it. He was quite a prophet, and he could see far in advance. I have lots of memories of Mother, but I have some really special memories of the last 5 months of her life that she lived with us. And what a dear, sweet person she was to have around you. It was just, she never wanted anything to be a problem, or never wanted to have it be work for me. She always had a good, happy spirit, and she always had good things to say to the kids. When they come into her room, she always had just wonderful things to say to them. I felt like it was a real privilege to be able to have my mother there with us. And Merv was so good to her. And Grandpa had asked him, Grandpa Saunders had asked him, just before he died, he said there was 2 things that he asked him to do. He said, don't let him buy me an expensive casket and take good care of Mother. And Merv really did take good care of Mother. I don't know that he influenced the casket part to Grandpa Saunders, but he did point out the casket that Grandpa was buried in. Mother had such a sweet spirit, and one thing that I can remember was the day that she started throwing up. It was just a few days before she died, and she always got up and got dressed, no matter what. And she didn't like laying in bed, and I can relate to that completely now. But she would get up and get dressed every morning, and then sometimes she would just sit in a rocking chair all day. But she always had to get up and get dressed. And this morning she got up and got dressed, and then she said, oh, I am so sick. And she started to throw up. And I grabbed something, and it got on her dress, and it was just pure blood that she was throwing up. And it got on her dress and her underwear, and I said, come on, let's get you changed. And when we were getting her changed, she said, oh, dear. And I said, are you going to throw up again, Mother? And she said, no, I just feel so bad because this just makes more washing for you. And that was her whole life. And I think that's about all I got to say, except I just love you all so much. And it's so good to see every one of you.
Any of you who have not gotten a directory yet? Any of you who have not gotten a directory, they're just $2 and they're real history. There's pictures all through it as well as names and addresses. So just contact me afterwards. I remember reading about Sister Kimball, and she said, the only thing about growing old is that you finally know all the answers and nobody asks you. So if any of you want to ask me any questions afterwards, I'll be available. Yes, I'm grateful that I remember this family. I came in as kind of a miracle because Harold is 9 years older than me, and so when my mother had me, she nearly died. And I'm deeply grateful that she did that suffering for 8 months and then let them force my birth at that time. And that the doctor wouldn't give up on me even though I didn't want to breathe for 30 minutes. Because look what I missed. I would have known all of you and had all this love and blessing in my life. I'm deeply grateful to have come at that time because Mother would kneel and pray every morning after all my brothers and sisters had left, the older ones. And then sometimes she'd say, you want to come in with me? And I'd go in. And I would see her kneeling and the tears rolling down her face as she prayed every day for their souls, for their health, and for all things that were necessary in their behalf. Then at night, they'd come home and in those days we all sat at the table for dinner. and we'd sit down and they'd tell about their experiences. And I'd think, well, my word, I heard my mother ask me that for them this morning. You can imagine how it built my faith, and I'm grateful for that heritage of faith. I love my father, and I really remember one of the things he used to, one of the quotes he used to always say, it was his favorite. He'd say, there's a destiny that makes us brothers. None goes his way alone. All that we put into the lives of others comes back into our own. And I can remember that so often coming from him, that he would quote things, and then he would always say, now go where you want me to go, dear Lord, in the morning when he was fixing the furnace, and we'd think, oh, Dad, please let us sleep. But he was always saying, I'll go where you want me to go. And he did go. I was at home when he left on his 2 missions, and saw my mother and the suffering that she willingly endured, for she lost her home, she was living in a little apartment house, we had nothing to keep us, and they finally sent for my father to come home. And never once did she write and complain to my father. After he came home, he very quickly was blessed to talk him into selling him a house, then to selling him a car without any down payment, and then to build a house in a lot he bought for $15, which later Vernon Leonard bought and lived in. I'm grateful for this kind of heritage, for the missionary heritage that is ours as a family. You'll find over here on this board where many have served. Carol has fixed a map to show all of you who sent word to us. She put your little tab on there to see how extensive that has been. These things are indeed a heritage, and many more of you will yet serve. And I'm grateful that I've had the privilege of serving 4 myself, and that Harold has served so many, and he and Doris. I've had a great heritage, and I know Janny said one time, she said, if Doug and I go on a mission, I want to be a missionary just like Aunt Raymond and Merle. They were marvelous missionaries. So, and I know that Ruth broke all records for an older woman serving in a missionary. She finally had to have 2 young companions to keep up with her. So we do have a great missionary heritage, and I'm thankful for these things. Verna didn't get to serve a mission, but oh, what a woman she was. I'm so grateful for the last year of her life when I had such a close association with her, for she taught me much of patience, and of love, and of caring, and of patience. Such patience I've never known, and yet she never complained. I didn't know she had cancer. She said, your back's hurting, I'll carry the things up the steps. And in all times, she was the one that was ill. I'm so grateful for these brothers and sisters and their example, and I am so thankful to the Lord for all of you, and that you came today, and we had this joyous time. Thank you.
It's a real pleasure to be here today in this group, to enjoy meeting so many of the descendants of Reuben and Pearl Saunders. They were 2 great people. My father was a person who never would let his family have anything to put up with but the very best. Dad was one who always supplied everything and a little more that he could possibly give to his family. I was blessed with 1 brother and 4 sisters, 2 of them older than me, and my brother being the oldest in the family. And it was a great group to grow up with, and to enjoy the association of each other in our home. There was great love in our home. Mother was a person who loved everyone, and she would just share that love with anyone who would stop and visit and be around her. She shared it with many of the grandchildren as they grew up, and then a lot of them, of course, didn't have that privilege to meet Mother. But Mother was a person who always had a story to tell. She had a story that fit every occasion of life. And whatever your problem was, Mother had a story that would tell you how to overcome it or what you ought to do in your life. And I have listened to them so many years. And then my mother had a special concern about her youngest son, and she took a lot of interest in me, because if she hadn't have, I probably wouldn't have been here at 83 years old to talk to you today, because she was given some warnings concerning my life, and Mother was true to those warnings, and she never would let me go swimming or hunting or fishing or be around guns or knives alone with other boys. And she had that warning given her, and boy, she still lived up to it. And many a times I was told, you can't go, Harold, so I'd have to stay home. And I'd feel real bad, and then I'd see the tears running down Mother's cheeks, and that's all I needed. I knew why I couldn't go. And I was obedient to Mother because I knew she felt the power of the priesthood and the warning in my life. So she had a little extra care she had to give to me. My father was a hard worker. Dad was up at 4 o'clock every morning, and he would be out working. And then he had a favorite saying. He'd come in by the bed that Clarence and I were sleeping in, and he said, and he'd repeat it to us, and I memorized it. Didn't pay too much attention to it then. But he would say, to wake us up, heights by great men won and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, was toiling upward in the night. He said, I've been toiling upward. Where have you boys been? So we were still on the bed. But anyhow, Dad was a great teacher. Dad taught school for the first few years of their life, and he was a school teacher. And he was a marvelous teacher. And he was able to really teach people. And he became a great teacher in the gospel. He never held many positions of leadership responsibility in the church, but was always called to teach. And he had a great ability to touch the hearts of people in his teaching. I remember one day Clarence and I were walking down the city in Ogden when we were boys with our dad, and there was a big fellow walked up and shook my father's hand, and he said, you don't even remember me, do you, Mr. Saunders? And Dad said, well, I can't say that I do. And he turned to Clarence and I then, who was walking with Dad, and he said, this man broke a 3/4 inch hardwood ruler over my back when I was attending the State Industrial School in Ogden, Utah. And he said, I'll always be grateful to him because I was a lot bigger than he was. And he didn't know but what I'd turn around and give him a whipping. But he said he straightened me out. And he taught me that there was something to do more than just fool around. And so he said, I'll always be grateful to your father here for what he did. And there's a lot of tributes that were paid to Dad in that way. But he was a very ambitious person. He always had time. Dad was in the real estate business, and he'd have a little free time, but he'd never miss an event of athletics that I ever performed or that Clarence would. And he was always a supporter of us. So we were blessed with enjoying working out their exaltation still. And each one of us, you know, your life is never completed. Even though you get older and you'll leave this earth, you're just beginning your eternal life. And I'm sure that Mother and Dad are enjoying the things that they are doing. I have felt their presence many times in my life, and they have been very close to me because of the great love that they show to us as their children. So I'm thankful for them and glad to be here with all of you as part of the Reuben and Pearl Robertson Saunders family group. And I'm grateful to each one of you who took the heart and the will to come and attend. Thanks so much.